An article came out on MLB.com, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, by Daniel Kramer. Some of you guys may have already seen this, but Joe and I are going to break down what was said in this article because it was basically them talking to John Stanton. And a lot of the stuff was stuff that we heard a little bit about before, but this is the first time that Stanton has come out and actually talked since the firing of Scott Service back in August or whenever that was. There is a lot of stuff in here about a bevy of different things. Let's start, Joe, with what John Stanton had to say about the Scott Service firing. He said, quote, "I have a deep regret that it leaked to the media and that Scott found out from some media source. And that is a source of frustration for everyone in the building." Sure, I get that. However, he then goes on to say, "I am highly confident it didn't come from within the building or from our ownership group because I know there was a very small circle of people who are aware of it. And I have a high level of confidence that those people did not say anything." He was then asked if he knew where the leak originated from, and he said, "To be blunt, I can't do anything about it, even if I knew exactly the answer to your question. It happened. It was terribly unfortunate. Both Jerry and I have expressed our disappointment that it occurred." John Stanton definitely knows who did this. It was probably our boy John Stanton's son. That's like I think the predominant theory right now is
The
that it was
running
his
rumor.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it wasn't someone in an ownership group, if it wasn't Jerry, etc., it was probably John Stanton's son. But him just saying, "Well, it happened. Sorry, I can't do anything about it." Like, no, someone needs to be held accountable for this. And I don't know how do you feel about this specifically from John Stanton?
It's just another like cop out, like kind of like he said, she said, like trying to redirect the blame instead of having it come onto himself, like trying to distribute it out so he doesn't have to be like the fall guy in any situation. The only thing I can think of when I think about this article and see people talk about it, like blah blah blah, like it's the J. Cole song, like, "Oh no, she knows." Oh, like he knows, like you're saying, like he knows, he has to know. Like it's it's so dumb that we're sitting here and we're like it seems like every single day, but even before the offseason started. So like that like game 161 presser that Jerry did, and then like the 3 or 4 days beyond that, it was like them shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again. And I just don't understand why they just keep talking to the media, because they've never had a singular good thing to say post a regular season where they did not make the playoffs. And sure, there's probably not a lot of good things to say regardless, but you learn this in first grade. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, kind of a situation. And like this article that Kramer put out, it just goes beyond that, but it's also talking about like it's so the part right after what you read, it says Stanton was asked about his view on the facts that led to the decision. So the decision about Scott, whatever, and then the offense and the team, and then whatever, just like underperforming, losing the 10-game lead, whatever. The quote is, "For whatever reason, comma, and Jerry should answer that question." Like honestly, like the fact that that is an actual part of the quote is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry should answer that question, comma, "The offensive performance particularly has been disappointing." Like, duh, you don't have to say it, John. Like, we all know. But the fact that he's then being like, "But you should ask my friend Jerry," Mr. Gerald, if you will. It's another situation where, and I don't want to like try and defend either side of like, "Oh, John Stanton, like, yeah, he should like try and make someone the fall guy," or like, "Oh, Jerry's the fall guy, tough on him." But it's just like it seems like if there was a disconnect in which what we've heard kind of between like Dipoto and Service, like their relationship had kind of soured. If there's any sort of souring between Stanton and Dipoto, like I would not be surprised that like that's happening like in like live, like in real time, even if as the president of baseball operations, like he's still making them a ton of money. Like I don't like that this is where we're at, and I'd rather just sit back and watch playoff baseball and just like not think about the Mariners. And don't worry, this is nothing like particularly like fully new. This is technically day old news, if you will, but we just haven't really had a chance to kind of sit down and talk about it. But out of the things that have kind of started from this offseason, I'm like, this is probably the one I'm like, dude, what are you doing the most?
Mm-hmm. Because obviously there was no presser like after the season like they normally do. Jerry did come out, for that 25 minutes or whatever it was and talk in the dugout where nobody had a chance to like really prepare to ask him questions. But that was really it. And like I said, this is the first time we've heard from Stanton since I believe the firing of Scott Service. So moving on now to what he said next, you talk a little bit about the souring of like a relationship between Jerry and Stanton. Stanton goes on to say, "I believe in Jerry, and Jerry's going to
Saving
continue."
face.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to continue to lead our baseball organization into the future as the president of baseball operations, and I believe passionately that he is the right guy to do that. So we know that Jerry DePoto will be the guy next year, baseball operations president. That what am I trying to say?
Hobo.
He will be the president of baseball operations. And speaking of which, just really quick, congratulations to Kevin Martinez. There's literally nobody better than Kevin Martinez to run the business operations side of things. He is, if I had to pick, like when way back when they were trying to pick a new GM, I was like, dude, Kevin, like let it be Kevin. I love Kevin Martinez,
Kevin.
one of my favorite dudes, and he is now. He was just announced yesterday that he would become the president of business operations for the Seattle Mariners. So congratulations to Kevin. But yeah, Stanton said that Jerry will be the president of baseball operations moving forward, but he declined to say he declined to say if there was an extension, if there had been some option in his contract or what. He instead said, "I philosophically believe that the focus of our baseball organization should be the players on the field. I've joked with people that no one's ever bought tickets or a ticket because of the owner or the president or general manager. They buy tickets because they want to see great baseball." I think those two things go hand in hand. Mikey with the $5. Aw, shit. Here we go again. Mike, appreciate the $5, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I think that that because of the owner, the general manager, the president of baseball operations, what they put into the team is what makes the team good. So I think it is a byproduct. People buy tickets to go to the game. That's a byproduct of the players they put on the field, which could be great baseball. Like, no matter what, if the team is playing poorly, it falls on the general manager, the owner, etc. So I don't necessarily agree with that statement. But yeah, that's a tough look from John there. Do you have anything to say about that?
Honest, like, not really. It's just more situations of like, it feels like they don't know how. It doesn't seem like they're media trained for whatever reason. Like, they never have the right thing to say in whatever situation you could think of. Like, I would not want them to be in like a dire situation needing to like kind of talk. Like, they would be the last people I'd call upon if I had a choice of the 7 billion people on this planet to call and try and talk themselves out of a situation, specifically John Stanton. I think Jerry, he could be a little bit more sly with his words, but he's probably been more, I guess, akin, like, from the ownership, been like, hey, you need to kind of say it like this because blah blah blah, this is how we feel. But like, they just need to stop talking to the media. And again, something that I really do appreciate, or did appreciate for a long time, was like the, I guess, visibility, the transparency between like the part of like the front office to, I guess, the public, to the fans. But as time has gone on, and we saw that like a big, I think, move away from that from 2020, from 2022, 2023, and like into 2024. Like, obviously Jerry wasn't doing like the appearances on the podcast as much, like, I think really at all. I don't think he was doing it at all. And you look back previous years, like, okay, like people would sit down and get their popcorn ready, like, what's Jerry gonna say this week? Then moving away from that, like, sure, it's kind of like a step backwards as far as like understanding what's going on within the organization, but a lot of times it was things that like fans didn't want to hear. Like, it just was not always a positive motion for them to do. So I get that why they probably moved away from it, but like at the same time, like the, even like with some of the lack of transparency that we've had in the past, say, calendar year, they're still having big blunders left and right when they do get a chance to talk to the media. So like their mistakes, they maybe felt more few and far between before. Now it's every single time they get a mic shoved in their face, they don't know what to do.
There was more on them not really talking to media. That was a very much so a, how do I word this? They did that. That was on purpose, obviously. We have heard from credible sources that they were basically told they're not supposed to go on any sort of podcasts, or, I mean, Jerry wasn't even really doing a whole lot of like 710 talk anymore. And I think that that's all by design. After the press conference last year, they basically said, stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys, every time you guys talk, you shove a foot in your mouth. And they said, stop talking. And now here we are. And clearly John's doing it again. I want to talk a little bit about the hiring of Dan Wilson now, because John Stanton did have a few things to say about that, and he once again just tried to put it all on Jerry. So whatever happens, he's like, it's his fault. Like it was his. This
Yeah,
was
he
his
said
fault.
it was his like Jerry. It was like Jerry's guy.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
exact quote was, "It was a very long series of conversations. I asked Jerry questions as to why he wanted to make the change with respect to Scott, why he wanted to bring Dan in, and I was certainly satisfied by his thinking on it." Stanton also reiterated that Dan, as the manager, was Jerry's choice, to be 100% clear. So he is just like John's just like, hey, I had no part in this. If something goes wrong, put it all on Jerry. Like that's bro's fault. And obviously Dan did well when he first came here. I mean, the Mariners played a lot better after he showed up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so strange to me the way he's wording this. I mean, it almost sounds like he's putting no faith in Dan. Whereas obviously Jerry was putting a lot of faith in it, and he's saying if it works, good for Jerry, but if it doesn't work, also blame Jerry. Like, I don't know. John Stanton just continues to push off blame to anybody else that he can, and a lot of it has been Jerry DiPoto taking the arrows for John Stanton, and that is happening here once again.
That was good.
Thanks.
That was a good like, yeah.
Okay.
I liked it.
Let's move on now to what he said about a sustainable payroll. Now we're getting into the weeds, chat. Now we're getting into the weeds. I don't want to bring up the stuff about Edgar. We've talked over that thing a million times now. So this is a quote directly from John Stanton. Yes, we plan to increase our payroll from 24, but DiPoto indicated that most of the uptick will be rooted via in-house raises. A sizable group of players. Okay, never mind. Wait, is it? Okay. His only quote was, "Yes, we plan to increase payroll." Okay, yes, and then a lot of that's going to come from arbitration stuff, which we've talked about already. I'm trying to find a very specific quote. Here it is. We're roughly the 15th largest market in baseball. We're pretty much smack dab in the middle in terms of size of the market, and that means that we're about average in our ability to generate revenue to do those things. I think, to me, the word we use a lot and our objective is to have a sustainable franchise over a long period of time. It's not to make the playoffs every year and win the World Series. It's to have a sustainable franchise. It is, and to say that you're the 15th largest market in baseball when you're top 5 in operating income every single year, because you are the only team in the Pacific Northwest in this area. You have a span of like probably 5-8 states that are like the Mariners are their team, and then like that's not even counting like the parts of Canada that are the closest to Seattle. We see a lot of people that do come down from Canada. Obviously, the Blue Jays are their team, but if they want to watch baseball, it's probably the Mariners because it's the closest team to them. You are not the 15th largest market in baseball. You are top 10 by far because you encompass so many states. I mean, you think of Idaho, Oregon, Montana. The Mariners are their closest teams and our closest team. And once Portland gets another team or gets a team, that's going to change. And like, you're missing out on an opportunity right now where all of these people are giving you revenue as you go along, and you're missing the opportunity to make the most of it right now and make those people fans for life. Because a lot of people, if like Portland gets a team, they're going to fall off. They are not going to be fans of this franchise anymore. And rightfully so, because John Stanton has basically walked them directly out of it and told them that we're doing the best of what we have. This is the money that we have. Speaking of money, Ian, the $4.99, if we fail, that's on bro. John Stanton on Jerry DiPoto. That is about right, Ian. I appreciate the $4.99.
Speaking of money, that was speaking of money.
Speaking of money, Ian just gave us $5. What a legend. Now, Ian, appreciate it, man. First super chat on stream, Ian M. What a guy. Round of applause for Ian. So yeah, just finishing up on my thought there. It is such BS. And Jake Raise the Trident had a really good like video on this. I say you guys should probably go watch that. But he broke it down a lot better than I will. But they are so wrong when they say 15th largest market, because sure, when you look at the amount of tickets they sold, yeah, they're right in the middle, smack dab in the middle. But when you look at, I guarantee when you look at the amount of people that are watching their games, because the team sucked, it was probably a lot less this year because the team was bad. But I bet you in 2023, they had so many fans. I guarantee that they had so many more people watching their team than maybe like the Rays or something like that. And I don't know. It's so asinine to me that John Stanton thinks he legitimately thinks we're stupid. Do you have anything to say about this part, Joe? Because I'm mad already.
I honestly, I've removed myself from thought, and I've completely shifted into like, I don't want to think about the Mariners until we really, 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 really need to. And so I don't think I want to give John Stanton any more of my time and my
Um,
energy.
that's not your job, Joe.
Well, it can be. We control what our job can be, Colton. I think you mentioned Portland. I also think about like, if like as far as like expansions can go, like not to say that like the Mariners are the dominating market in Utah if it does end up being like, say, like Salt Lake City, but there's probably some sort of like portion of fandom there. I mean, they've got Colorado, they've got Arizona that are probably the more dominating fan bases there, but that's another, I guess, franchise that encroaches on certain areas of like, okay, if the Mariners are bad and like people like further south, like you're saying, like in Oregon, or like you go a little bit further east, like how much more, or even into like Nevada before even the A's get there, kind of a thing. Like you got a team in Utah, there's Mariner fans south of Washington, like they might flock to whatever's new and hip. And you're saying that's kind of like the same thing for Portland. I think Portland's more a reasonable thing for like closer states as far as like Utah is concerned, but you're going to eventually lose your monopoly on the Pacific Northwest market if you don't invest the proper time and energy into the ball club. Therefore, I don't want to invest proper time and energy into talking about John Stanton. You know what I
I
mean?
think that's respectable. I'm going to make you do it anyway. The last part of this article, Joe, is about fans being frustrated. And John Stanton said, I love this place. I am present. I am here. And I care deeply about this. I am as disappointed as any fan we have that this team hasn't been in the playoffs in 2 years. I believe we're making progress. Team lost more games this year than they did last year and missed the playoffs.
Just
I
in
can
case anyone
certainly
was
understand.
wondering.
Yeah, in case you guys missed that part. I can certainly understand why fans are frustrated when they hear me say that, but I believe that we are on track to have a team that consistently wins over a long period of time. I don't disagree with that part. I don't disagree with the fact that the Mariners are on track to have a team that is going to be good for a sustainable amount of time. But there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to get brought up about, say, the pitching staff and whatnot. And it all comes down to if they're going to have money to be able to re-sign a lot of guys, and if they're going to have money when Colt Emerson enters his prime, Cole Young, etc. Are they going to have the money to go out there and supplement those guys with free agents that are needed for this team? Because, frankly, they've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton ends the article with saying, I intend this team to win, have a winning record every season, be in the playoffs most seasons, and we will win a World Series. Your goal should be playing in October every single year, not be in the playoffs most seasons.
Or
Yes,
just
I
a
understand.
winning record, 82-80.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your intention should be to make the playoffs every single year, not be in the playoffs most seasons. It's just like another time where it makes sense to say be in the playoffs most seasons because that's just the way baseball goes sometimes. Sometimes you just miss. And like, but when you're the Mariners and you've missed for, 20 something years, like, you really can't be saying that anymore. Your goal needs to be October every single year. And clearly for the Mariners, it's not. Having a winning record, whoop-de-doo, an 82-80 team doesn't do anything. And to say that you are just as disappointed as any fan is frankly just not true, because you made billions off of this. Whether the team won or lost, you were going to make a shit ton of money. While all of us spent a ton of money to go watch this team you put together, that we poured our heart and soul into it. I will reiterate this, hopefully for the last time this offseason. And I wish the ownership group cared about this team as much as you and I and everyone here, as much as we all cared about this team.
Mm-hmm.
That there's nothing that I want more than that, and unfortunately, it's just not true with John Stanton.
I just had a thought about what because I don't have anything in my head that stands out from that time period, but was there some sort of like bell ringing moment for John Stanton in 2022? Like, did he come out? Like, was there any sort of like talk with the media or like anything that like stands out in the way that the last 2 years have kind of stood out from the ownership group but when they actually did something positive and made the playoffs in 2022?
The only thing that I can remember really is him being on the field um,
Sure.
for the celebration. That's the only thing that I can remember specifically. And I believe, if I remember correctly, he like talked to the fans a little bit after that. But
Okay.
otherwise, I don't think so. I
Not
mean,
like a media like article like this, like celebrating what they did right in 2022, and like this is what we're going out and setting to achieve every single year. Like we love where the core group is at, blah blah blah, and like Jerry did an excellent job at bringing and then like it's just I don't remember anything ringing true or feeling like positive about that situation, and we could go look, but
mhm.
I don't know how
I'm
quickly
sure it
we'd find
exists.
something. But it's just like it feels that whenever there's like something positive that happens, that there's not as much of like an outpouring of like, I guess, commentary on it from the ownership group. And then as soon as like, oh, we're so disappointed, sorry, gosh, wish we could do more, dang it, then they start talking. It's just it felt weird in my head when you were saying all that stuff, and I didn't know, and I couldn't remember, so I figured I'd ask or just kind of say it out loud.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's something that they're always trying to save face at this point. And unfortunately for us as fans, we have to start the offseason talking about this. One of the first things that we heard going into this offseason was that, payroll is going to go up, but not, not that much. That was one of the first things we were told this offseason. That blows. Like, come on. You can't even let us be like a week removed from this stupid team before you start saying stuff like that. Like, no, they don't, unfortunately. And for the Mariners, for us as fans, like we have to now wait the next however many months for this team to come back and see what they put on the table this time. Oh, who did they go get at second base? It's probably not going to work out again. Like, it's unfortunate for us that that is what we have to think about every single year instead of being some of the teams that have literally lower operational income than the Seattle Mariners going out and signing the best free agents available. It doesn't make sense to me. I really liked it this year because we didn't hear jack from John Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
I
Until
love it
now.
when I don't hear from that guy. Yeah, I love it when that guy just shuts the hell up. It's my favorite thing in the world. But that article as a whole, just something we definitely needed to talk about because we haven't done it yet. So that is what our boy Jonathan Stanton had to say about the end of the season. Joe, here we are. Are you going to pin that? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Smart. So here we are, chat. Here we are, our first stream of the offseason. We needed to get that out of the way. There's still plenty of things to talk about, but let's address chat here a little bit. Aaron, both Aarons, Felipe, Mitchell, Adam, Steamboat, Lucario, Aaron, everyone that's here. I said both Aarons. BP. No, I appreciate all you guys for being here, man. Felipe, you said that you saw me at the game, but were too nervous to come say hi. Dadara, no. I was so bummed, Felipe, because I went out to the 300 level, and only Lucario and a couple other people showed up to the 300 level, and I was like, oh, nobody came to say to pour one out for the baseball season. You know what I mean? It was sad. But next year, Felipe, next year, man, I hope to see you there.
Would it be more comfortable, Felipe, if it was both of us, or if it was just one, like if it was an like isolated thing? Like would that, just out of curiosity? Damn, forgot to mention Mike. Crazy.
Who?
Who's Mike? I don't know who Mike is
What is
personally.
a mic?
What is Mike?
This is a mic.
Me, he, she, Mike. I've also got a
Mike.
Mike.
You'll be there next year. Let's go, Ian.
Dubs.
You were at the store. I should have joined you. Ew. No. Uh, you can't trade either Mitch unless you add a young great prospect to each, like we did with Kelnick last year. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's probably true. Which sucks. And I hope that it doesn't necessarily come down to that. Like, again, we talked about it earlier, or I guess in another video, but how sick would it be if Mitch Haniger just declined his option?
It's
Like
it's
that
just
was
not gonna happen. But I wish that would be, that's like the ideal situation, because then you don't have to worry about trying to, one, trade his contract, or two, pay his contract. It's just kind of immediately off the books and you're good. But I think, I mean, you trade one of them, you probably, depending on what you would get back in return, because like when we traded, like I mean, you trade Jared Kelenic. It's not like he was like a top prospect. You just attached him with Evan White and Marco Gonzalez. I just don't know if there's like guys on the team that have good club control like that and that are also like valuable to major league clubs. Like maybe Dom Canzone attached with the Mitch Haniger or Mitch Garver could work for people. Like if a team is looking for a literal outfield platoon that's going to cost them $18 million, you trade them Mitch Haniger and you trade them Dom Canzone and you hope you get something sort of like some sort of value, because I think that can work. It's just not many teams are probably in the market for an $18 million outfield platoon, unfortunately.
Yeah. Desert Stro, yeah, please do, man. That'd be dope. I'm gonna be down there. The plan is to be down there for most of spring training, but it's like, damn, bro, like this team makes me so mad. Do I really want to spend $5 grand?
Yes, you do.
I do. I really do.
I'm
so looking forward to that.
You're
trip.
saying this team makes you mad, but you know as soon as springtime rolls around, the birds are chirping, sun's out a little bit longer than normal. You're going to be like, baseball's back, baby.
Baseball's back.
You can smell it in the air.
Yep. You needed Yesenia with you. That makes sense. Hey, Colton and Joe, Joe and Colton, not Colton and Joe. Sorry. Do you think that it's possible for Juan Soto and Clay Holmes in free agency? Clay Holmes, sure. I don't know if, I mean, the Mariners, if there's a pitcher, specifically a reliever this offseason, you should probably link the Mariners to them. In my opinion, the Mariners should be linked to every good reliever out there this offseason because they should build a death bullpen. They really should. And I think that it makes sense. Clay Holmes, had a good year, but also not a good year. He had a very strange season.
Yeah.
But I think that he would make sense to bring to the Mariners and have them make one tweak and have him be elite again. So, as for Juan Soto, no, the Mariners are never spending that much money. They absolutely should. But are hotels pretty cheap for spring training or not? Hell no, Ian. They're very expensive. However, thankfully, I rented mine back in July, so it was much cheaper now. If I would have rented that same hotel now, I believe it has doubled. It went from $2,500 for the month that I'm renting it, and I believe it went up to like $5,000 or $6,000. So
just gross.
Yeah.
What
was there more reason to think that Ray would bounce back than Old Man Haniger? I don't think that's what it was, Aaron. There's actually a lot more to it than that, in my opinion. The contract of Robbie Ray, the Mariners actually saved money on that trade. They also where were you going to use Robbie Ray this year? Like, that's the thing. Is like Robbie Ray was coming off of Tommy John. Like he was not going to be a part of this rotation this year. He just didn't have a spot. At least Haniger played some sort of role. Not a good one, but some sort of role.
A negative value role.
Yeah.
I think, like, if you look at it from the lens of, like, team composition, like, yeah, you're right in the idea that, like, Robbie Ray didn't have a spot. Could you, when he came back, right, could you then have been like, all right, Brian Wu, now is time for you to maybe take some time off and get your arm rested? Maybe, but like Wu was firing on all cylinders at that point. Like, who would you have kind of rather stepped in at that point? Like, give Robbie Ray more starts and take away starts from Wu, Miller? Probably not, because you're not going to do that from Castillo, Gilbert, or Kirby. You could go to a 6-man, but like I feel like every single time a 6-man rotation gets brought up, someone's like the eyes are rolling in the Mariners pitching staff when a 6-man rotation gets brought up. It's just like not something that they seek to do. And some teams it works. Would it work? Could that big what if game, like, could a 6-man rotation with Robbie Ray have worked for the second half of the season? Sure. But I don't know if it was really like necessarily worth the, I guess, money that you would owe to him. And then beyond, because you're saving it on an extra year, right? Because Haniger's only this next year, whereas Robbie Ray was 2026 as well. So I think that's probably where like that value comes from. You also then flipped DeSclafani in the Polanco trade, but like, again, not really a super big net positive. Sure, DeSclafani didn't pitch because he got injured, but in that same time, like, going out and getting a very coveted second baseman, a lot of people that were like, yeah, this is the second baseman that we wanted for a long time in the offseason. I mean, Hollander said it a bunch of people on Twitter were very like, yeah.
I said it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone said it. I mean, maybe not everybody, but the vast majority were like, that Polanco acquisition is a good thing. Yes, they gave up 4 pieces for it. It was a lot at the time.
And they still won the trade.
And they still managed to win the trade for now. I mean, who knows? Maybe Gabby Gonzalez in 2 years will be a monster, but I don't know. It's just the whole like there. I think if you look back at all the moves last offseason, there is one singular one that's like, all right, that was good, and it's the Luke Rayleigh for Jose Caballero trade, where the Rays could
Which was
still
the one that everyone hated too.
Kinda. There's definitely less, I think, positive like outcry for that one, but also it could still go in the favor of the Rays like long term. But I don't know. The Mariners, could we have used Caballero at second? I mean, I guess it wasn't any. Could it have been worse than Polanco? Dude, like looking back on it, like you tell me over a 162 season that who's going to be more valuable coming to 2024, Jose Caballero or Jorge Polanco? I'm taking Polanco 9 times out of 10 and saying if Caballero is more valuable, it's because defense and base running, not because of his bat.
Yep, which is exactly what it was this year. So.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Brash, Taylor, Santos, and Munoz already be a death bullpen? Yeah. However, that's what it was supposed to be this year. Here we are. Like, the Mariners already have an elite pitching staff. They need to make an elite bullpen. If they are going to continue to not field a good offense, they need to make an elite bullpen. Like, you can't have your bullpen blowing, because the team, I mean, the offense is going to score you like 2-3 runs a game, maybe, if you're lucky. Like, you need to be able to keep the other team off the board then more than they were. The starting staff did it fine, but the bullpen blew games a lot. And because of that, if they make a death bullpen, and I'm assuming that the starting rotation isn't as good next year as it was this year, because obviously, how could you be? I think that there's a decent chance that if they were able to make a death bullpen, that they can fix this. Yes, you have a question?
I was just show of hands for who misses Nuke Rayleigh.
Oh,
that's all. That's all I was doing. Maybe Spire will have a resurgence. I mean, there's definitely going to be guys in the pen that give you legitimate innings next year. Whether or not you go out there and sign someone. I saw someone say, like, where was it? Gorfy. Kowar is going to come back too, right? Like, I don't know where Jackson Kowar's at as far as like recovery. Like, I'm sure we'll know as time goes on, like in the spring, maybe even before that, just like where development stuff is at for him. But I imagine if Brash is starting up a throwing program, or like it seems like Brash is like pretty well on his way from recovery. Kowar's probably a little bit ahead of him based on the timeline of their surgeries, unless his recovery time is just not going, I guess, as smoothly as Matt Brash's. But Kowar is a guy that a lot of people are like, yeah, that's going to be the bullpen lab fixing type situation. Like you see what he has as far as stuff is concerned. And there's a lot to like from it when you're looking at it from the lens of the Mariners bullpen and what they're able to typically do. It's just now a Tommy John surgery kind of makes it even more like volatile of like, what really can you get from him? And if it's nothing, it's nothing. Like that's just, sometimes that's the way the cards fall.
Joe, I want to talk about a conspiracy theory.
What's your conspiracy theory? What is your running conspiracy theory?
So, chat, for some of you that may have noticed, Randy Arozarena and Julio Rodriguez both posted just a blank picture on their Instagram story today. I don't know why. Like at first I thought, oh, like Julio just messed up. But then Randy did it too. And Randy's was a lot lighter than Julio's. Julio's was just a black screen. Randy's was like a reddish screen.
Wasn't Randy's earlier in the day? Or was Julio's first? Hello? What's wrong with you?
Stream dead? I think stream's dead.
That's crazy. The conspiracy theories happened. That's actually hilarious.
Hello? Oh my god.
That's actually, oh no, it might actually be cooked.
No, we're working again.
No, my what's it called? My bit rate is like going crazy fluctuation right now.
Oh.
We're good now. We're here. Refresh.
Yeah, Mariners World tweeted that. Mariners World tweeted it. Yeah. So, Yeah,
Part of the conspiracy.
dude. Yeah, whoa, what happened, chat?
Uh,
Whoa, they heard us talk about it. They're like, nope, turn it off. Whoa, we might, dude, Mariners World, you might be onto something. So, Mariners World was the one that tweeted this. I saw Julio's. I did not see Randy's at first until Mariners World tweeted it. So shout out to Mandy's Mariners World. Very strange. Very, very strange. I don't know what it could be, right? So, let me give you my running theories. Number 1, something to do with Trent Blank because it's a blank screen. Thoughts?
no.
Okay. Number 2, there is some sort of collab coming up with Julio and with Randy for whether I don't know what it would be, like maybe some sort of new like merch or something,
Like Randy's now an Adidas athlete kind of a thing.
or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. So those are my two kind of running theories. Like the two of them have, because after I saw that, I went and looked up everyone else's Instagram and nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody else had one. So I was like, okay, it's just Julio and Randy that did this.
So
What are they cooking?
I know that Julio was at the Huskies game,
Right.
right? Like he did the like begin whatever. So I'm not familiar with the timeline of events necessarily. Like was that Instagram story posted before he did that? After he did that? I want to say like what I asked you when stream crashed was blank page means blank check. We're signing Ohtani. I asked you when stream crashed, unfortunately, that well, I thought Randy's was earlier in the day than Julio's was. And I also don't think this is the first time that Randy has done that. I think he's posted just like a random like I would describe it looking like a sunset, like a gradient picture is basically what it is, just a blank thing. I don't think it's the first time that he's posted that. I think it happened during the regular season too. So I don't know, like if he just like accidentally posts them and then maybe Julio was like mocking him. I don't have any like good running theories.
Fun.
It's not fun. I don't think I have as much creativity in my brain when it comes to that as far as you're concerned. I think the thing that I latch onto, I guess, the most out of yours would be like them doing some sort of collab type situation where Randy's now going to be like an Adidas athlete or whatever. I don't know what he is now because Julio's an Adidas athlete, right?
Sure.
Oh my God. I can't look.
Yes, he is.
I can't look it up. Felipe already got mad at me, even though I didn't actually look anything up. I literally am just sitting here, hands up, absolute cinema. Like I caught me. I didn't do anything. Sometimes my bit rate shoots down to 0 and then back up to like 16K, and then now we're right around 4.5 where I have it set at. So, anyways,
I'm just saying, Who knows? Keep your eyes peeled, chat.
Julio and Randy are retiring. I like Andrews. Maybe it seems we're calling up Class A. Class A is getting called up.
Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is going to be a long offseason if we're over here analyzing players' stories. Dude,
listen.
We've done it a lot, actually. I think back to the JD Martinez.
Oh, when he was in Seattle?
Yeah, when he was in Seattle, and everyone was like, yo, like, is he coming to the Mariners, JD Martinez? And he had a great year. That year too.
I think one of our first shorts that did really well was me making a video about Jared Kelenic unfollowing a lot of Seattle Mariners things on Instagram. So that was a good time. Yeah, we're social media. We're scouring the pages, Felipe, for anything juicy. Not really, but fiend. Anyways.
Yeah. What else were we gonna talk about? There was something else.
I mean, we could talk about the playoffs that happened.
The playoffs, that's right.
The actual baseball games that were played today.
Right. Oh, speaking of which, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. So, Jackson Merrill, right, came up from Double A. Do you think that the Mariners could and should do that with like Cole Young?
Yeah, like, screw it. See if they can run into a rookie of the year, maybe second rookie of the year kind of placement with one of their guys. Yeah, I mean, I look at what Merrill's done. And if you had told me at the beginning of the year that Jackson Merrill, out of the 3 Jackson rookies, Churio, Holiday, and Merrill, that he would be the like the big guy, kind of big man on campus. Like sure, he had a great year, big moments in the postseason for the Brewers, like in their 3-game wild card set against the Mets. But Merrill doing it from day one and continued to just be clutch every single time. Yeah, I mean, if you can get, I don't know if Young has that like offensive skill set necessarily, but if you can get something close to it where he's like impacting your game in a positive way, night in, night out, like Merrill was doing, or he's done this past year, yeah, I'm in. Like I'm okay with it. I will be very much, and of course that's on the idea that we get positive impact out of Cole Young. If he comes up and he does what AJ Holiday disappointed big time, like if he comes up and he doesn't look ready, the lights are too bright, turn those off, kind of a thing, then it's like, we rushed him. Now his development's stunted. Now he's never going to reach his full potential. It's going to go, like, the scale's going to tip heavily one other way. Like, if you start Cole Young opening day at second base, I don't know if there's, like the likelihood of you reaching a, like, middling result, a median, is going to be very low for me and, like, how I think about where his season could go. Hey, you're muted. That's really sick.
So in about 200 games, Jackson Merrill, he hit 277 in between high A and double A last year. That was about 114 games. He hit 277, 326, 444 with 15 homers and 64 RBI. This year, Cole Young hit 271, 369, 390 with 9 home runs and 57 RBI. So it's not like horribly different. I mean, both guys hit about 270-ish. Cole Young had the higher OBP, but Jackson Merrill had a much higher slugging at 444 compared to Cole Young's 390. But Jackson Merrill has played more games. I'm sorry, Cole Young's played more games in the minors than Jackson Merrill has. Cole Young has played 267 games. Jackson Merrill played about 200. Young is a couple months younger than Jackson Merrill, so hey, I mean, what's the harm? You know what I mean? And if he ends up being bad, send him back down. But at least give it a shot, right? I'm in.
Yeah, like it's just if you start the year and he's not doing well by like May, maybe even June, you'd be like, okay, go back down to Tacoma, go to the PCL, get your groove back, and then just see where you go from there. I just worry about maybe his replacement if you don't have like a good contingency option, I guess, like a backup plan. Is it going to be Ryan Bliss? Will it be some like quad A type player like a Jake? Is his name Jake Slaughter? Is that the guy we got from the Cubs in the Tyson Miller trade? Like a player like that, where he's never going to see the bigs unless like you absolutely need to, kind of like Jason Vossler for that like stretch of games. So I don't know. Like I'd be fine with it. It's just whatever the backup plan is, like just hope that it's not the worst thing you've ever seen on a baseball field. So
yeah, I mean, how could it be, right? After what we've seen the past few years, maybe he comes up and he Evan Carter's his way, Zach Neto, Noah Shonowell, Jackson Merrill. Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
When is our turn for the fun prospect hype?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, obviously we had Julio, but like he was ready, and like there was no question about it. Like, I don't know. I look at, I don't know, whatever. We'll talk about it more throughout the offseason.
Yeah,
baseball. There was baseball today, chat.
4
games.
Game 1 pretty boring.
Game 1 went incredibly boring. Oh my god, 7-0 guards. That 3-run home run from Lane Thomas went crazy in the first inning. Kind of shocked me, honestly, because it's Lane Thomas. I was very down on Lane Thomas. Reese Olson, kind of my guy throughout fantasy baseball. So, yeah, a bit of a shocker there. I mean, not shocking that your Tigers lost, you know what I mean? But
the truth be told, Minnie Galen, see the pinned message. It's just a Daniel Kramer article talking about John Stanton the other day. Like the way that the game went for the Tigers, I think was to be expected. If I'm being honest with you, like the magic of the Chaos bullpen was going to run out at some point. And whether or not they got that big 3-run home run from Lane Thomas or that Zach McKinstry error on Jose Ramirez's like chopper down third base, like it didn't matter because they didn't score, right? that game could have been 1-0, and I would have felt the exact same about it as far as the outcome is concerned, because it never felt like the Tigers were in it to begin with. And sure, it was a quick pull from Stephen Vogt on Tanner Bybee, who was cruising. But then you go to the death bullpen, and then Cade Smith comes in and goes 4 for 4 in strikeouts.
He was electric.
Right? It gets the faux for faux kind of a situation. You go to Tim Herron. You go to Hunter Gaddis. You witnessed the actual death bullpen in play in a 7-run lead. That's, I'm going to say a bad word. That's the biggest fuck you energy that you could have brought in game one of a division series against a division rival at home, knowing that you don't have to worry about your bullpen because you have a day off. They literally showed you will never get a run late in this game, so you better score early. Because if Vogt can turn to any of those 4 relievers with a lead late in a game, it's like 99% toast for the Tigers. And I say 99% because a lot of the next game showed that the 1% can happen. But if you want to finish up anything talking about the Guardians Tigers, feel free.
No, I mean, Tarek Skubal on Monday, Monday, right? That's when they play the next game.
He should have started today. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they'll be able, if they go to game 5, they'll have him game 5, but like, wouldn't you rather have him game 1 and 4?
Correct.
And I don't know.
The goal for the Tigers should have always been to have Skubal pitch as many innings in this postseason as possible if they want a legitimate chance to continue to win.
Yeah, so that one seemed a little weird. Second game of the day, the Mets and Phillies, dude. Citizen Bank was rocking. Obviously, Zach Wheeler, one of the best pitchers on the planet, gets through the lineup in the first inning, and then Kyle Schwarber just does what Kyle Schwarber does and crushes a baseball. And it felt like immediately, it was like, whoa, the Mets have like met their match. And they're going to basically be taken care of. And then all of a sudden, everything cooled down after that. Like, it was just it was very boring after that. Until, Joe, was it the 7th or the 8th?
So Wheeler got through 7, but it was
Right.
there's some hiccups in the 6th and 7th. I mean, bro's at 110 plus pitches, walked 4 batters, but he said in like the post game stuff, like, yeah, I had some walks, but I know that I can get the next guy out. Like big, like, yeah, that's like big dick energy from Zach Wheeler. But they turned to their bullpen. Jeff Hoffman. We watched a Jeff Hoffman meltdown in T-Mobile when the Mariners faced the Phillies. Jeff Hoffman meltdown happens. Immediately the Mets are back. It's all about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets, go Mets. Strom comes in, can't get the job done as well. Like, a bullpen implosion from Philadelphia was not on my bingo card. But, that's the way that the Mets had to win that game. They were never scoring on Wheeler, right? And Lucario saying Zach Wheeler's bad, that's...
Lucario, you're bad.
Put him in timeout. Don't actually do it. No, don't actually do it. Don't actually do it. Don't actually do it. Don't.
I won't,
all right,
that'd be weird.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, it's just oh no.
Shame. Anyway,
what happened? Yeah, a bullpen implosion. I mean, good for the Mets. I don't think the Phillies are done necessarily. Like, it's only game 1, right? Like, the Mets still have to win 2 more games. Sure, they don't have to face Zach Wheeler, but Christopher Sanchez has been a lot better at home. That's why he's starting game 2. Like, do the Mets have, I guess, the longevity to really continue to bring it to the Phillies? I mean, getting game 1 is a huge momentum shift, and they're still riding that high of the late game heroics from against the Brewers. So if they could, again, if it's 7 innings of baseball of nothing for the Mets and then miracle Mets for 2 innings, I mean, I might take out a loan and put it on the Mets. You know what I mean?
Through Citizens Bank.
Yeah, exactly.
So then the next game, my Royals against the New York Yankees. This was kind of a back and forth game, and I'm not gonna lie, I missed quite a bit of this game. Unfortunately, I may have been taking a little napsies, so I missed the start of it. But can you break it down for me? Because I didn't really see it. The start, anyway.
Well, what happened at the beginning of the game?
Right.
I mean, Juan Soto deserves a blank check.
Yep, true.
I want to say first run scored was the Royals off of Garrett Cole. and then Glaber hit a cheapie out to right, 2-run bomb, and then MJ Melendez gets him back, 2-run bomb, same, short porched. After that, it was a lot of like shenanigans, kind of like
A lot of back and forth.
yeah, a lot of back and forth. Anthony Volpe had a good stop into a poor throw with Tim Hill on the mound as soon as Garrett Cole gets lifted. So I'm sure Garrett Cole was having the time of his life down in the dugout watching that inning implode. But the Yankees do battle back. And their question marks about their bullpen, I'd say largely answered, at least in game one, about like what they're able to kind of bring forth of, all right, you go to Clay Holmes and he looked pretty good. You go to Luke Weaver to finish out the game and he looked pretty good. There's definitely, because the Royals had a chance to score 2 in the first inning and Salvador Perez got thrown out by Juan Soto at the beginning of the game. So, I mean, technically it could have been 6-6 going to extras, but yeah.
That was a terrible send by their third base coach.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. It was quite the, especially with a guy like Salvador Perez. Also, there was a play at one point, and I get that it's Giancarlo Stanton, but Michael Garcia made like a diving stop, and I swear to God, it felt like a 12-second play where like ball hit, dive, gets up and throw. Like I'm thinking, okay, the dude's probably like 4 steps away from the bag. Stanton's not even halfway down the line because of how slow he is due to his legs injuries, and he gets thrown out, and it could have, I think that would have scored a run because I think it was runners on first and third with 2 outs, but it doesn't matter. Yankees end up winning that game. I think Austin Wells had a big hit,
Yeah.
A game tying hit at some point in the
Who
middle of
called
that
that?
game. Yeah,
You called that on MLB Mojo, by the way, chat. We have a new channel, and you
MLB
guys
Mojo.
should go subscribe to it. Here it is. We only have 50. I had it ready, bro. We only have 59 subs right now. So if you want to be one of the first 100 to subscribe to that channel early, then there it is. Actually, Desert Stro, I'm gonna have a video about the Astros coming out tomorrow. Don't judge me if I'm wearing my Tigers jersey in it. But I was nice to the Astros in this video. I didn't talk too much crap. But no, be sure to subscribe to it because Joe and I have been trying to upload on that more. We want to be able to talk about more baseball than just the Mariners because half the time the Mariners suck. So please, chat, if you guys are here, please. So no, you get that. Please subscribe to our new YouTube channel, MLB Mojo. The last game of today, Joe, was a very fun one. I enjoyed this game a hell of a lot. It started with a Manny Machado 2-run homer. And that thing was pimped after he was getting booed coming up. Was it 1 or 2 runs?
I'm sorry,
was it?
It was a 2-run home run, but there was a fielder's choice RBI before that.
Right.
So they were already winning 1-0, and then Machado hits a 2-run home run to make it 3-0 off of Yamamoto in that first inning. Yeah, getting booed as he does in Dodger Stadium, hits an absolute tank. Good for, I guess, it's just good for television baseball, right? Good for televised nationally. Just bring out the worst and the best about everything baseball and put it into a game. That is Padres Dodgers, at least the start of this game, right? You get a home run from the Padres, you're like, those damn Padres, boo, boo.
Up 3-0 early.
Up 3-0 early, you think they're going to run away with it, and then in his first at-bat, in his first playoff game in Dodger blue, at home, in Dodger Stadium, Shohei Ohtani gets a fastball at his freaking eyeballs. And he hits a laser out to right field. Let me tell you, when I saw it, I literally just went, of course. Because what else would happen? What else other than a game-tying literal answer to the Padres' top half than a 3-run home run by Ohtani in the bottom half? Mm-hmm. I know any sort of MLB coverage, national media creamed their pants when they saw that ball get hit, dude. Like, just that clip of him throwing the bat saying let's go, it's giving Corey Seager yelling when he hits his home run in the World Series. It's a little early, a little presumptuous, a little early. But yeah, he knows how to play it up for the camera for sure.
Dude, the I have something in my eye. The crowd was electric, and when he hit that, like I think I just started laughing because
Mhm.
like you said, of course. Like what else is Shohei Ohtani gonna do? And you were spot on also when you said that Judge chokes in the big moments. He did. He struck out I think 3 times today with runners on base. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani coming up big with that massive home run. It's just like, and they were the game plan was to get him upstairs. Like they were trying to go
Mhm.
up out of the zone to him the whole time because they knew he'd chase, but he planned for it and he was able to get to that fastball and crush it. And that was the continued game plan against him the rest of this game, but it didn't end up mattering because the Dodgers were able to pull out this game 7-5. Joe, what was it? The 3 runs that were scored of Teoscar had the go ahead.
Mhm.
Had like a 2-run double or something, or single or something like that, because Jackson Merrill misplayed a ball out in center field. I think it would have only been 1 run.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of dove on him like a lot towards the end. Like it
yeah,
was tailing for sure. It was a tough play. Like if he dives on it, I know he doesn't want to risk diving because if he does and he misses it, it gets past him. Like Taylor's probably on third, depending on
yeah.
how close. I mean, Tatis is pretty close to him, so like it's a situation where if he makes a diving catch, that's a game changing play, and he doesn't, so it's a game changing play in the opposite direction. Padres bullpen wasn't as sharp, but I liked what I saw out of the majority of the Padres bullpen. But Dodgers bullpen, they worked around a lot of walks, a lot of I guess issues on with their command. Kopech could not get out Machado or Jackson Merrill. Or did he get Machado out? I can't remember.
Mm,
It was regardless. He threw 20 pitches between 2 at bats, pretty much. Like Michael Kopech, one just was trying to throw all gas. I think he did end up getting Machado.
yeah,
It was
he had
it
two
was a
walks and 1K.
it was a
Yep.
called strike 3 on the outside corner that froze Machado because he was going high and inside like the entire time. But Merrill worked a great walk against Michael Kopech in that situation. And then Trinan has to come in with the bases juiced, try and work out of it, and
Well,
he does.
he
Oh,
walked
he
the
walked the
bases
next guy,
juice.
didn't
Yeah,
he?
he walked the next guy.
Well,
Yep.
he still worked it. He still worked out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was I mean, hell of a game from Trinan specifically because he came in and got the last outs of the ninth inning as well. But yeah, I don't know. This game was a hell of a lot of fun. You look at the Padres side of things. Xander Bogaerts also had that.
Oh yeah.
I believe it was like a line drive down the left field line that scored 2, right?
Teo kind of
Um,
misplayed it in the
yep.
corner.
Yeah, he did. Looking at the RBI for the Dodgers here, Teo again had those 2, and then Shohei had the 3, and that's it. So the other ones must have come on that error. So yeah, just an interesting game all the way around. I'm super excited to watch it again tomorrow. A nearly 4-hour baseball game. Chat. I don't remember the last time that we have seen a game go that deep. Like that game just felt like playoff baseball at every single turn. And a lot of big names in that game. Obviously, you saw Freddie.
Yeah, playing on
With
an
his
injured
ankle,
ankle,
yeah,
stole a
stealing
base.
a base.
Yeah. It was crazy.
What do you think, Joe, about the missed calls replay wise?
I don't know how. So it was a Trey Turner. Oh, Desert Stro subscribed.
Let's go.
Let's go. It was a missed pickoff out on Trey Turner, and then it was Jazz stealing second. He was out, I believe. Yeah, I don't understand how those weren't turned over, if I'm being honest with you. Like the replay review challenge system is in place for a purpose to make sure that the right call happens. And twice today, your first like big moments, I think of, because I don't remember anything happening in the wild card series that was a big one off the top of my head, but the Turner one doesn't seem too big at like when it comes down to it. But Jazz Chisholm was I think either the tying or the go ahead run that ends up coming around against the Royals where he's out. And I don't know if you can sit there and dwell on it because like, what happens in the game happens in the game, but like if he's out there, the entire direction of that game shifts. And it's just I don't know how they're still missing calls with that replay system in process.
Yeah, it was. Some of them were pretty blatant. I think the Jazz one was pretty blatant.
Yeah.
Like he came up off the bag there and they got the tag down. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think that there are a lot of gripes to go around on both the Phillies game and this game for the Yankees. I hope that it doesn't become something that we have to talk about the rest of the playoffs. Like if this doesn't become like a theme, because unfortunately it might. I do want to mention, Joe, that we are at 68 subscribers on MLB Mojo. Chat, who's gonna be number 69? Who's it gonna be?
69.
Who wants to be number 69? We need one more subscriber.
Give it up
Follow that
for
link.
number 69.
Number 69. Trading Gino. I mean, shit, man. Gino. It looked like a great trade until about July.
And
like
then
late July.
And then he turned it on. Yeah, we gave up Gino for Sebi Zavala and frickin' Carlos Vargas. I almost said Carlos Estevez. I was like, wait, that's not the right guy. And Carlos Vargas, all right? Big innings out of Carlos Vargas next year. He's going to strike out the side in the game where the Mariners clinched the postseason berth. So really, who won the Gino trade then? All right? The Diamondbacks didn't make the playoffs with Gino on their team. Huh? Where's the coping now? Listen.
Maybe they would have made it with Carlos Vargas and Sebi Zavala on their team.
True. Well, yeah, but okay, listen, Josh. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We don't need Sebi Zavala on the team, bro.
Yeah.
We don't need him. Regardless if he was whatever roster transactional process happened, hopefully the grass is greener for him somewhere else. Wherever the wind takes him, just make sure it's not in Seattle. Because outside of his one, was it a 3-hit game?
Yeah, where he hit the home run.
A 3-hit game. He brought Mariners Steve a lot of sadness throughout the season with his poor playing. And I know that Steve's probably sad to see him go, but it's for the better. All right? The grass will never be green with Sebi. Yeah. Unfortunate, but the team was better with Sebi. Prove you wrong. The Mariners did have a 10-game lead with Sebi Zavala on the roster. People are talking. It's the same thing when Jared Kelenic got hurt and they started playing better last year. People are talking. Causation with correlation now, guys.
I saw a trade on Locked On Mariners of a 1-for-1 swap for Luis Castillo and Matt Olson. Is this Fan Fiction Friday? Is that what this was?
Has to be.
But there's a lot that goes into that I don't necessarily know if we can break down right now. I don't know why the Braves would do that, I guess, necessarily. 1-for-1, anyway. I think the Braves would want more because Matt Olson is one of the best first basemen in baseball. Down year, but still. Like, I think that for the Mariners, sure. Like, if I'm the Mariners, I might do that. Sunk cost. Well, actually, how long
I think
is
it was
Olson's contract?
I'm going to throw out two numbers. I'm going to say 9 years, $182 million is my immediate lean on Matt Olson's contract.
So close.
What was it?
8 years, $168 million.
Who got 192? Is that Freddie?
Yeah, that sounds right.
That just sounds right in my head.
So the thing with that contract is you're stuck paying, like, let's say Matt Olson's bad. Like, let's say this wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, like he is now starting to actually regress.
Yeah. Then you probably lose that trade because you would have him through 2029. Whereas, what is Castillo through 26, I think?
Nah, I think 27, right?
Hold on.
I'm holding.
Through... Oh, you have him through 2027. At
Bang.
24 million for him. So you're paying him a little bit extra than you would be Matt Olson. There's also a vesting option for 28 as well. So I guess it's possible. Well, okay. That's a little bit different for me. Would I do this?
I think first base is it's not nearly as valuable as starting pitching. Like, from like a positional value standpoint, like, I think Castillo has more value as a starting pitcher only because how much valuable starting pitching is compared to a first baseman. But it is Matt Olson, who at his best can be a top 3, top 5 first baseman. Had a pretty down year, like you said, but the chances of him bouncing back in a much less deep Mariners lineup in a probably less hitter-friendly park in T-Mobile. It's not super likely, I would say, but would I do it? Honestly, I think I would, just because like you have the pitching depth. I think to like one, get around losing Castillo, and two, like you can just sign someone in free agency if you needed to, or trade someone prospect. Like I'd do it just because like give me Matt Olson in the middle of the lineup. Why not? Screw it.
Yeah. Lefties hit well in Seattle. Like, I think that I'm okay with it. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. Like, there's definitely a lot would need to go into it in terms of, I guess for the Braves, I don't see why they would do it because you could just go sign a starting pitcher this offseason. That's better.
Yeah, they just
Like, you can go
re-sign Max
sign
Fried.
Corbin Burns or re-sign, Max Fried. Like, when you have Spencer Strider coming back middle of the year? Like, I don't know. I don't think the Braves do it. If I'm the Mariners, I might do it. Channing, I train at Driveline. It's a large warehouse, insulated ceilings, and a piece of insulation just hanging down. And I asked a high performance trainer what it was, and he said it was Shohei doing a med ball toss. I believe it. It is. It is Shohei Ohtani after all. That's Sicky train at Driveline there. No, that's very cool. I've always wanted to tour their facility.
Do you say Tua, their facility?
Talk Tua? You guys want to do a Talk Tua watch along?
That would actually like I really do think if we like came in here, bought some fake glasses, wore like a button-up shirt, sat down with like a pen and like a notepad and like we're taking notes and took it really seriously, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
we like don't tell anyone it's happening.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny.
Yeah. No, Deidara, we cannot watch the Talk to a podcast. Do you have your lunch Lee ready? All right, he's gonna get banned. Holy shit! I can't believe Deidara is getting Lucario'd right now. That's crazy.
Lucario says, "I've got one request for y'all. Why don't you guys make the Hit It Here podcast a live stream one of these days? Like just do like one episode as a live stream.
It could work. We would just like the production. Like I'd have to set some stuff up before we do that. But yeah, I think it could work.
The other hard part with that is like the way we started today's podcast talking about or live stream talking about the like the article. Like we just ignored you guys for like half an hour. Yeah. And like who wants to come to a live stream and watch us ignore you guys and not talk to the chat?
It would have to be something that's like planned ahead, like this Thursday we're doing the Hit It Here podcast live, blah blah blah. And another aspect of it that would be challenging would be then taking the audio and distributing it on audio platforms. So that would be a hiccup. I mean, we could do it. I just have to like record it after the fact and then put it into DaVinci and then like render it as an MP3. And just do the audio and then upload it after. So like the audio would go out probably like 3-4 hours after. Maybe not even that long, but yeah, it could work. But
we could all say thank you to Bet Online. Yeah, that'd be a little bit more difficult because usually after Joe and I do the intro, we like sit there and talk for a second before we get back into the podcast.
Yeah, and like a live Bet Online read, dude. Backlog Gamer has become a Mojovian. Welcome to Mojovian. Says
let's go Backlog.
The YouTube chat. Thank you, Backlog. I appreciate it, dog.
The other thing would be like people. Like that would happen.
I mean, I could just turn off the alert box, but then people would be sad.
Yeah.
Mike's super chat wouldn't have popped up on screen. It would just popped up in the chat, and then people might feel like they're wasting money.
Yeah. Yo, Ian, remember for 9 months? Is that a pregnancy? Let's go.
Let's go, Ian. What are we naming it?
What's our baby's name, Ian? Let me know. God, look at you eat that hot dog.
It just reminds me of sad days, dark times. Because I didn't finish the challenge, and I feel I'm disappointed in myself. When did we just start swearing willy-nilly? Unsolicited. I said earlier I was gonna say a bad word. Now you're just calling me a pussy? That's crazy.
Figure with all the gifteds this season, I should probably just buy myself one Backlog. I appreciate it, man. That's true. I never even thought about the fact that you yourself
just wasn't.
You were not a member, but there was a bunch of gifties, bro. That's crazy because let me tell you, there's been a lot of people that you gifted memberships to. Well, hopefully you enjoy all the new bloopers that are soon to be coming out. Here's 5 gifties, chat. Why not, huh? For Blender, Dashing, Jack, Voodoo, and Wang Chung.
Dubs. Voodoo's
W.
been one before. I know that for sure.
Yeah. W, chat. W. Appreciate you, Backlog. Appreciate you, man.
More people you've never seen. If you've never seen Voodoo before, Lucario, you're lying to yourself. Voodoo has definitely been a member before. I can tell you that. No. I'm out of those two. So Keston Hira or Yon Moncada, who do you think would actually give you the best chance of working out? Between the two of them.
Do I have to involve contracts here?
I mean, I think that's part of it, no?
Then in that case, Keston Hira.
Because Yon Moncada is getting paid a bunch of money.
What's he getting? Let me look.
Where the hell is Chun T? Chun T, I think.
Ooh, it's been a minute.
They popped in probably 2-3 weeks ago, just like for a message or two. But not familiar with their game, bruv. It's true.
Moncada's making $14 million this year. Okay, so he has a club option next year. It's obviously going to get declined for $25 million. So actually, his contract won't exist. So
there you go. So
in that case, Yon Moncada.
Yon Moncada, got it.
No, yeah, because
Daydara saying Kalnick is getting non-tendered. Yo,
maybe. Honestly, I could see it happening.
Yo, like, should I finally take the Robles stuff off of my blue Mariners jersey? Should I summon Kalnick back?
Yeah, freaking right. No shot. Dude, Moncada put up a 117 OPS plus this year.
How many games?
12 games.
I was going to say, not that many games.
Honestly, I mean, 2021, 116 OPS plus in 144 games. Like, I don't know. Bro struck out 217 times in 2018, though.
Damn.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
That's actually like 217.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
How many at bats did he have?
Just close.
Yeah. Let's call it a nice 600.
Let's see.
I mean, it's gonna be an over 30% clip.
So he struck out in what year was that? 2018, 650.
Okay.
Which equates to
about like a little over 30%.
33.4.
Yeah. Damn.
That's crazy. Career 29.2 strikeout percentage. Yikers.
Yikes.
Yeah, he made a lot of money. He made a lot of money.
To play 12 games? I'd do that for a lot less money than $24.8 million. Personally. Maybe like 2.48 million. Just move the decimal. I might take that for 12 games.
I'll for 12 games, I'll play for 0.248 million. What's that? About 250K.
So yeah.
I'm in.
You just put the fries in the bag, bro. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't get that joke.
It's a thing on TikTok when people do, or I guess like any social media, it could be reels, could be everything. When someone does like a skit or like a video, whatever, someone will just say, just put the fries in the bag, bro. As instead of like being like an influencer or content creator type person. My God, what did you just do it to both of them?
Both of who?
Oh, it looked like Daydara got banned as well. 5 cake pops and a frappuccino. Honestly, no, not 5 cake pops. Like, don't get me wrong, like cake pops slap, but
I don't think I've ever had the cake pops from Starbucks.
They're pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and toot their own horn, but they're pretty good. But yeah, put the fries in the bag, bro. Just if you see that, I mean, Accent literally commented it on MLB Mojo. Just put the fries in the bag, bro. So us starting a new channel, I think makes sense. Like us promoting it, us like doing more content over there. Like just put the.
You say a new channel?
Wait. We have a new channel?
Yeah, you guys should go subscribe to it, chat. What are we doing?
That's crazy. That's crazy. We don't have 12,000 subs over there already.
We're only at 74, chat. What's going on?
Wait, how many?
74.
74.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
W. You know what's interesting, Micah, is the fact that they have not done it already. Of all the teams to not put a sponsorship on their sleeves, I'm shocked that it's the Mariners.
John Stanton does not want more money. Confirmed.
Best food item at Starbucks? Grilled cheese is pretty good, but I'm gonna go with the ham and Swiss croissant.
Gas choice from you there. Ham and Swiss croissant goes pretty hard. You can't go wrong with the sausage and cheddar. I won't lie. It's pretty standard. New one, egg pesto mozzarella sandwich does go in fact hard. And
I've not had that yet.
As someone who works there, I can steal things and put other sandwich items on it. So I take like the bacon from a double smoked bacon, throw it on that one. Oh my God. It's a delicacy.
You're stealing?
Yeah. Brian Nichols, new CEO, former CEO of Chipotle. All right. Oh my God. Odd just subscribed while we're talking about food because we're fat. Thank you. Brian Nichols, he's not going to miss the bacon. Okay. He's not going to miss it. L Worker. Okay. It's rude. Big Joe and greedy. That's crazy.
Who would have thought, Chad? All right, Joe. I think let's wrap it up, huh? Going for 76 minutes. We went over 69.
Damn.
It's highly unfortunate.
That is so unfortunate.
But hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on this first.
If you plug it again, I swear to God.
What? Just subscribe to the new channel, Chad. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us for our first podcast of the off season.
Podcast, bro. It doesn't know what he's talking about. We're live streaming right now, brother. We're not podcasting. Bro doesn't know what he's talking about. I need a new host. I need a new co-host. This is unbelievable. I can't work in these conditions. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong. Everything about you. Baby, come back. I'm not gonna end until he comes back. No, I won't apologize. He needs to get his shit together. See if I can summon it. You see exactly what Ian said. Put the fries in the bag, Colton. Don't do it again. Don't leave again.
You think I was gonna come back?
I mean, I could just like force you out of here. I could go into my full cam and mute you. I've got creative control here.
We did not talk about that, Steamboat. I think we'll probably talk about that once things kind of settle themselves a little bit more. But we appreciate you guys coming to the first live stream of the offseason. More playoff baseball tomorrow, so I am excited to watch. Only 2 games tomorrow, which is a bummer, but I'm excited about that. Joe, any parting words?
Go Dodgers, what BC said.
Oh. I thought you were rooting for the Padres.
I am rooting for the Padres. I read the words. They were the only words in my brain. Appreciate everyone who came out for the first live stream of the off season. When there's more exciting news, right? When there's more things going on, there'll definitely be, I guess, more constructed, more put together live streams, if you will. No live stream tomorrow. This is like our shift to Saturdays. So I will not be streaming tomorrow. We're going to try and do Saturday evenings for the most part, mainly so we don't compete with Sunday football Seahawk stuff. And then whenever news happens, we might just randomly kind of go live like we normally do anyways. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of my Fiend. That's it. So
all right. Appreciate you guys being here. Subscribe to the new channel. Let's go.
He got he got his last lick in.
Get us to 100 before the end of the postseason, or I'll find you.
You're not going to shave your head for 100 subscribers?
Hell no.
You don't care about subscribe? That's crazy that he just doesn't care about the new channel, guys.
Nope. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.